Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are so proud and honored to have here today a special guest. His name is Csaba. He was a trucker who exemplified the spirit of Freedom Convoy 2022 there in Ottawa. He had a very recognizable truck lit up with lights, expressed the jubilant feeling that was there when people congregated, where people could finally be themselves. So Csaba, first, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Good evening, everyone.
Now, Csaba's story is very special. I mean, I think it's special in a way that it exemplifies, like I said, what Freedom Convoy really was for people. It transformed people. It freed people from 2 years of being ridiculed and vilified for having a position that was different from the government, the mainstream media, their family and friends. And not only did it transform people, it brought people together in this meeting of, if you will, the meeting of the tribe. That's what Freedom Convoy really was there in Ottawa. And now your story is incredible. That's why we reached out to you. We wanted to talk to you. You know, you arrived there onto Wellington Street and ended up moving your truck towards the front of the line. You were arrested. Yeah, you were beaten.
Yes.
After being arrested. And yet there's still something inside you that there was a higher calling in all of this. You've been called a hero. We're going to get into all that. But can you first of all tell us, why did you go to Freedom Convoy in Ottawa, and where are you from?
Born in Romania, and I was 18 after I left my communist country. Then I lived 10 years in Hungary, and only in 2000 I came to Canada. And since that I'm living here.
Okay, and then you drove your truck from where?
From Windsor, Ontario to Ottawa.
Okay. Why did you go?
Well, being a male in the family, it's also being a protector of the family. You have to protect your family as a male. And with all these mandates, with all these things going around, I came to a point like I feel like I couldn't protect my family no more. So I have to stand up and do something.
Right.
I didn't know what exactly is gonna be in Ottawa, but I feel the need, I gotta be there. So I just joined the convoy without knowing, like, no organizer. I simply just heard what time the convoy is gonna leave from my area, and that's it. I kissed my family goodbye, and yeah, when I start driving and I get on the highway, the very first overpass, I saw a few hundred people, kids, older people, young people, cheering, and see all those Canadian flags. I get moved, and I knew I'm doing this not just for my family. I gotta do this for these people also. And driving in a convoy up to Ottawa, around London, I remember. Another overpass was, of course, full with people, but each and every overpass from Windsor to Ontario, it was full with people. But at London, I remember, I saw 5 or 6 old veterans right on the side of the highway, and they was
saluting.
Correct. Then I start crying, and I was driving like that probably 20 miles. I couldn't stop crying. It was very, very emotional.
And so this was, you had lost your ability to drive your truck January 1st, is that correct?
No, and January 1st, it was the last load that I did in the United States. In Wisconsin, just at the border with Illinois. And in January 1st, I returned home from that trip, and that was my very last one. Because after that, in January 15, wasn't been able to cross the border no more because I refused to get the vaccine. And
so it went from you joining the convoy for personal reasons against the mandates, against the injustice of the discrimination for the vaccine mandates, to something bigger than that, where you were overcome with tears to realize this is not just about me and my family's survival. This is about freedom for everybody.
That's right.
Okay.
Because, you know, I coming from a communist country, and I can smell communist country for far away. And, you know,
can you tell us what that feels like and compare that to now here in Canada?
well, I can give you so many examples, but probably it's not the point. You cannot have the freedom of speech, and this is just small. That's basically they control your life 24 hours. I remember in Romania, I was in school. I was living in an apartment building, and we have no electricity. Okay, only at 7 o'clock in the night, they turned back the electricity, and we was able to join that until 11 or midnight. Then it was shut down again. So, you know, but being a kid, you know, I was a kid, you know. I thought this is how you should live your life, and that's it, until we are not start hearing from others. They can do that. Oh, I said, how come we are not allowed to do this? You know, let me tell you another thing. In my city, that time, there was just a small amount of cars, not a lot like they are maybe now. And all the license plates, they was ending up in the numbers. If you had a number ending in 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, you know, you had specific weekends when you was able to drive your car. The following weekend, it was for those with the pair numbers, ending in pair numbers. So can you imagine that? You want to go to have fun with your family, but it's not your weekend to drive your car. You can walk, or you can join others in a car ending in pairs, you know, or you had only like, I don't know, an amount of 20 or 30 liters of fuel a month. You can have only that, and when that ends, your car is parked. That's it. So you cannot go drive hundreds of kilometers because you had no fuel. Or you want to buy sugar in the store for your family, you was able to buy maybe 2 pounds of sugar a month, or a half a bread, I don't know, for a day, for a week, something like that. I don't remember exactly. Even if you had money, you couldn't do nothing with that, because the government told you exactly how much of this you can buy, how much of that you can buy. You went in a store, it wasn't like a selection of running shoes. Nope, it was one, one kind produced in Romania. And the bottom of the shoes, it was like hard plastic, you know.
So severe restrictions, rationing,
Oh, yes.
control of movement. We're not there yet in Canada, but we do see with the Canadian government, especially when they brought in the Emergencies Act, you know, we're now living in a country where they can freeze and tell you when you can use your money and your credit. They are telling you where you can go, where you can enter, where you can travel, where you can work. They control what goes into your body. They control who you can support, what you can say, what you can protest. So now being here in Canada, comparing to back then, how far off are we from this communist state that you lived in back then?
Well, I don't know what to say, but you know what? What's recently happening in Canada, I don't even know if it's gonna be a communism in Canada or it's gonna be something way much more. It's make me more thinking about the way the Germans, they pick up the Jews from the street and prosecute them. It's that image I have in my head.
So when you were there in Ottawa, what was your experience with the people there? What did it do for you arriving finally in Ottawa?
What they did for me, man. They did pretty much everything. I got a lady who was taking my clothes and she washed them. I got people bringing my coffee in the morning. They asked me, how do you like your coffee? They bring me breakfast, lunch. Also, they bring me their own pain, because I was listening at everybody's life story. And it was hard and painful. Meeting few hundred people every day. I did hug them. We kiss each other. Do you know how many people they came to my truck and they kissed my hand? They begged me not to leave. I got plenty of notes from kids, from different persons. I have bags. Hey, I'm crying, but I wasn't like this before I left Ottawa. I had people came to my truck every day to ask me how I am. It was something which one I cannot describe to you. I never thought people, they can be like this, We was laughing, we was crying, we was hugging each other.
It was an incredible atmosphere, something I don't think I've ever experienced in my life. The amount of generosity and love that people had for each other.
Some people, they was willing to give you the very last they had home. I have an example for this. After this person saw that video, what was on Facebook, no, Facebook, I'm sorry, on
Instagram?
On YouTube. On YouTube, about me leaving the last Ottawa. He said he saw that from home. He's an Ottawa resident. And he said to me, I made him cry. And next day in the morning, the very last amount of money he was in his position, he buy a jug of fuel and he went to a gas station, filled it up with diesel, and he was walking 5 kilometers away to give me that fuel, And can you imagine that people, they was willing to give the very last what they have? It's
it must be humbling. It must be again a transformative experience. And you said that this did change who you were. You, in our previous discussion, were telling me how you were always a champion to stand up against bullies. You know, if someone was in need, you were there to be with them, whether it would be a losing battle or not. You would jump in there with your friends or strangers and help them out. In high school,
You
you
know,
used to, people would come to you and ask you for help and say, listen, I'm being bullied, and you would always be there. But, you know, you've always been a champion with a good heart, but your heart changed even more there because of an experience of someone else who watched the video and brought you some money. Can you tell us about that?
yes, yes. One day someone came to my truck and he was asking me if he can get into my truck and talk with me. I said, yes, sure. And he told me he also watched this exactly video what I'm talking about. And he said he was touched right in his heart. And he put me on the dashboard a large amount of money in 100 bills. And he told me, I want you to have it, or if you decide to help others, it's totally up to you. After I left the truck, I was still shocked, just shocked and I don't know, probably scared. I don't remember exactly how I felt, but I was in shock. Okay. Then I decided to just leave my truck, go down on the street, and I was giving by bill to people who was doing volunteer job over there, like picking up the garbage. If you was there, then you know they pick up from the ground also the cigarette, the piece of cigarettes. The city was in that hot zone was cleaner than in a normal day, you know. And I was giving away my money. I remember a guy came to me because it was cold. I have to take breaks between spreading the money left and right. I get back in my truck to get warm before I leave again, and somebody show up with a $20 bill. And he said, I want you to have it. So I accept his 20, and instead I give him 100. And the guy was completely shocked. He said, hey, what the hell are you doing? I said, just a trade. I keep yours, you keep mine. I said, but why, man? But why? He said, because you are wonderful, that's why. So
It's
I did that
incredible.
too.
Yeah, and you were saying that previous to the convoy, what would have happened if that money was given to you?
Oh, I was keep it, no question asked. I was saying thank you and probably hit the store after that, or paying some of my repair bills or something. But I will definitely keep it.
Right. This was the power of the Freedom Convoy that can never be taken away, regardless of the violence that happened on the day of the arrests that happened. They started on, I believe, the Thursday, February the 17th. There was a few initial arrests. Then on Friday, February 18th was the first day of real violence that happened with the police officers. On the second day, Saturday, February 19th, you were arrested as well. Can you tell us about that, please?
Well, it's easy to talk about it because every time I close my eyes, that image, I got that image. It's stick in my head. I cannot move to something else because that's the first thing it's coming. I was in a truck. It was probably around maybe 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30, just before my arrest. It was a nice stage set up with lots of speakers, you know, a nice setup. And I just saw, they just turn off the music. People suddenly they start running, taking that stage apart.
Get on the ground.
He was running away with those speakers in the hand, recording for another one. It was a pretty frightening image before my arrest. And the crowd was, the police cordon, they was getting closer and closer. The people they tried to give them love. Okay, they tried to give them love because they was asking them, give me a hug or just shake my hand. You are my brother. Don't do this with us.
We stand behind you guys. We don't like to see you guys attack. It's not right.
But those people, they was just like, I don't know, I will say heartless, like maybe some machines, you know. They was just approaching, hitting with bastons people, arresting them, shooting them with rubber bullets, spraying that with tear gases, and I had to witness that from my truck. And when they was about 8 feet, 10 to 8 feet from my truck,
Somebody on the ground there.
I decided to go down and just give myself up. So I left my truck. My buddy was on my left. I remember he was asking me what I'm doing. I told him I'm just gonna give myself up. Not gonna run. So if they wanna arrest me, then I'm right here. So I went down in the front of my truck, right on my knee. I put my hands behind my head. And when the police cordon started pushing me, that officer, he was yelling to me to go back, And I tell them I'm a driver. Then another officer yelled, arrest me. So they grabbed me by my hands or shoulders. I don't know at that point because I was in kind of shock or something. And they pulled me between them, right behind them. I was on my belly. And I remember I tried to raise my arms as much as I can for them to be easy to cuff me. So I didn't put any fight. I didn't say nothing. I remember my face was in the snow. And the snow was so cold. You couldn't feel cold. You feel like burning your face. I felt a lot of movement, which one later on watching that video of my arrest was actually kicking me from each direction. Yeah, 3 officers, they was on top of me. And I felt like every time I tried to breathe less and less air, I was able to get into my lungs. It was because of the pressure what I had by police officers being on top of me. So after they arrest me, after they cut me, they get me back on my feet, and we was walking towards this police cordon. Police cruiser, they was parked on Wellington left and right, and they was picking up people who get arrested for the further procedure. And this officer who, if you guys saw that video of my arrest, he's kicking me with his knee. He was the one walking me down on the street. And at some point, I get close to an older lady with her hands behind her back, and she was crying. This officer walked me down on the street. We was having some kind of conversation, like if I have an identification, if I have anything what pokes him or hurt him with me. I said, no, I have only my type 2 diabetes medication with me. I have my driver license, and probably I have some cigarettes, like $50 in my pocket, and a piece of paper with my wife's phone number. So, because before my arrest, I get my phone to somebody just to have that phone safe, not being stolen, crashed, or, confiscated. And when I get close to that older lady, she was crying. I told her, don't cry, sister. Everything is going to be all right. And this officer asked me, is that your sister? I said, yes, she's my sister. I said, just like you are my brother. And after that, our conversation stopped because I did ask him for his first name. I said, I want to remember for the rest of my life, what's your name? And he stopped answering me, also questioning
It's
me.
incredible that you just went through an unlawful arrest, a beating for which you're still suffering symptoms. You're now experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder as well. And you still had the compassion to call him your brother. It's incredible what transpired there in that moment.
I'm pretty sure I moved something in it when I called him my brother.
It's amazing.
Or maybe not. Maybe he's going to think about it later. Maybe.
You know, I agree with you there, Csaba. I think this is the spirit of the convoy, long hauling into everybody, you know, whether you're on the right side or the wrong side or in the middle, this has somehow affected everybody. Can you tell us, you're suffering now, like I just mentioned, some injuries, and some were quite severe, and you now also have post-traumatic stress disorder. Can you tell us about that, please?
Well, yes, after we get arrested, we get loaded into a prisoner transport trucks. I guess we was like 15 of us. It was 3 compartments, and each compartment 5 of us. And if they didn't run the engine on the truck, no heat came in. And after a while sitting on that hard aluminum interior, you know, it was very, very hard to handle. And they kept us for a couple hours, I will say a few hours, in that truck before they proceed with us. They called us one by one out from the truck. They get us into a warehouse, not a police station, a warehouse. And they took fingerprints, they took some pictures, they told you what are you being charged with, and then they left us.
What
in
was
the
your
street.
charge?
But when I got arrested, I just, they took my hat, they broke my hoodie. So I was, after they released me, I was in that extreme cold for hours, you know, with this short hair. I was thinking probably my ears, they're gonna fall out because they was froze. And yeah,
So just
it wasn't a good experience at all. It was
so just
painful.
for perspective, folks,
It was
to have been beaten, sitting in the cold for hours, put through this humiliation when you were acting peacefully. The context is we're talking about minus 20, 25 degree Celsius weather in Ottawa. It is cold up there. So did they actually, did they have any charges for you? Did they drop the charges? What did they charge you with?
I'm being charged with mischief, weighing a court order, and resisting arrest.
Okay, so this seems like the standard charge that everybody has been put under as well. There were a lot of people who were caught and then just released later on with no charge at all. Okay, so right now, you've told us that, you know, through this experience, you're suffering now with PTSD. And right now your family's not able to help you in any way in terms of providing, and you're not able to provide because you're not able to work. There is somewhere where if people would like to help you, they can help you. Can you tell us what the way is that they can help you? Yep.
Well, I have a PayPal account, and I also been asked by a couple of persons to open a PO box. I didn't know what was the PO box, but at the end, my wife, she opened one. Yes, I have a PO box now and a PayPal account.
Okay, perfect. So people know the Adopt a Trucker Gift Send Go account has about $10 million US in there. The gentleman who opened that up, his name is Chris Guerra. His funds were not unfrozen like everybody else's who were frozen by the bank. Apparently, on speaking with Chris, he told us that his funds for Adopt a Trucker were frozen by the Attorney General. They're going to be going to court to argue this, see if they can have the funds unfrozen, as well as his own personal accounts and his wife's accounts. They're frozen. They're not able to pay their oil bills. They're not able to pay their mortgage. So they're also receiving donations right now. In terms of the Adopt a Trucker, for any truckers who signed up with the registration form, like Csaba did, if the funds are unfrozen, they will be going back towards them. So we hope that will be happening soon. But in the meantime, we hope that people can help out Csaba as he's working through the aftermath of what happened in Ottawa there. Csaba, is there a message that you have for people after having experienced all this? You know, the highs, the lows of Freedom Convoy. What is your message to people?
Well, probably said that in some interview before. You know, like imagine that all of us, we are birds. Okay, most of us, we are chickens living in a chicken coop. You're being fed. Maybe you have a small shelter, and you think that's happiness, that's life. I gotta tell you, there is more than that out there. Simply just you have to experience it yourself. You know, refuse to be a chicken. Just be an eagle. Yeah. I born an eagle, you know, and I refuse to be a chicken. And all those chickens, they can be eagle. They just have to say, that's it. I want to be an eagle. That's all they have to do. Because, yeah, pretty much that's it.
Listen, that's a powerful message considering where we are right now as a country, where our democracy has gone, where our rights and freedoms have gone. The message being, you know, you can sit on the sidelines and watch this happen, or you can fight for it because, as many have said before, nobody is going to come and save you. It has to be you. And
That's right. There are so many wonderful things out there. Being a chicken locked up in a coop, you just experience whatever they allowed you to. So stand up for yourself and start experiencing the real freedom.
Yeah, that's one thing that we keep on hearing.
Freedom doesn't have borders, you know. Doesn't have limits. Stop hate each other. Stop dividing between you guys. You know what? Before, I wasn't that person who was just, about hugs, I was a caring guy, but, you know, but now I can tell you, when I hug somebody, it's oh geez, it's a very good feeling, man. For the first step, just try to do that. Go hug a stranger. Tell him you love him. It's you know, that simply is just a wonderful thing.
Csaba, I think this is the most amazing thing is a lot of people have talked about this great awakening where the existing power structures will eventually crumble through the turmoil that we're going through right now, through the challenges we're going through right now. But this great awakening is not something that's going to happen outside of us. It has to happen inside of us. And, you know, I can't say enough about the example that you're showing here of this transformation that, you know, it's us who have to change in order to create the change that we want. Nothing is going to change without us. We have to be the bigger people. The unconditional love that you've displayed for that police officer, for being able to overcome who you were, which was the person who was caring, but now understands that a hug is not a hug. There is more to a hug. There's a message, there is hope, there is fight, there is freedom in that hug. And this is, you know, in this war for freedom, it really is a war. This is our weapon, is love.
Yes. Yes. Love has incredible power, man. I thought a few years ago, maybe a punch has a power. Love have much more than that, man.
That's incredibly well said. And, you know, we appreciate your time in spending that with us. And we wish you all the best. We hope you're able to overcome these obstacles, mental, emotional, physical, and financial.
Oh, I'm strong. I will be able to.
A final word at all for people, any and all, on both sides of the equation, whether you're for what was happening in the Freedom Convoy or we're against it.
Well, it doesn't matter what's your opinion. I still love you guys. I love you all. So pretty much this is my message to everybody. You know what? Many people, they should be pissed about being beaten by police. But you know what? I forgive them. I'm not angry anymore. Because seeing at those footage at the beginning makes me angry, but I'm not angry anymore. If any of those officers have a chance to watch this, I forgive you, buddy. And I love you.
This is powerful. And if any of them reach out to us, we will make sure that they get in touch with you as well, Csaba. You don't consider yourself, you don't consider yourself a hero, as we were discussing earlier, but you know what?
No, the hero is not me. The hero, they are all those people who was enduring that extreme cold over there day by day. Not me sitting in a warm truck.
But you have led,
and accepting a coffee, a sandwich from them. They are the hero, not me.
But you have led the way with your example, your leadership in showing people that love is the way to do this. You, again, are a symbol. You embody what Freedom Convoy was: love, positivity, and unity with everybody. So, yeah.
Correct.
So thank you so much for your time. We will definitely keep in touch and update people on your story.
Thank you.